I feel like there's this whole, what is that called? Like positive high vibe culture and manifestation. And I think that when you're manifesting, I don't necessarily think that you're supposed to stick to the high vibration and have to feel high all the time. I think it's more on a spiritual soul level that you're supposed to be high vibing. And what I mean by that is, whew, I don't know how to explain this without sounding woo woo, but this video obviously found you for a reason, for you to, you obviously believe in woo woo stuff, but I feel like this is extra woo woo. So, what I mean when you high vibe is almost like your higher self stepping out of your body and not thinking on an emotional level, but the best emotional human level. But the best way that I could experience or explain high vibe is you experiencing love for the first time. It's like a high, and I think that's the closest thing that I could kind of relate it to when it comes to vibing high for your manifestation. Because when you're manifesting, I've personally manifested stuff at the lowest points in my life. I was depressed. I was, what is that called? Corticosteroid? Oh my God, what is that hormone? Cortisol. I was cortisol driven when I was manifesting moving here. I live in California now. I mean, there's a lot of controversy when it comes to the US and stuff, but aside from that, this was something that my husband now, my boyfriend at the time, what we said in the end that I would move here. And during COVID, it felt like it was almost impossible. All the borders were shut down. And I was working as a nurse, fresh grad nurse during the peak of COVID. And the cortisol was just through the roof for me. And I didn't know, I would cry. I would have mental breakdowns. And I think that I worked a lot on my inner self. And it wasn't even like childhood trauma. I talk about like generational trauma when I'm talking about working through my trauma and working through my life and all the trauma that myself, my soul, my family lineage has been through. That's the kind of work I did on my soul. And I think that when you do that, that's when you start to figure out and be able to separate this human experience in this lifetime. Because as much as I am Catholic and I was brought up Catholic, there is just so much out there that I've experienced with other people from different religions with similar experiences. And I am not lying about that. I want to say the in you, but honestly, there is so much that I have similar experiences with people from all walks of life and different religions, and I think that there's something bigger than us outside of just our small religion that we're taught. And I don't mean to preach, but honestly, that's what I've encountered, and that's all that I can really share is my encounters. But I truly believe that when you're doing a lot of generational trauma healing, you're really working on your soul's lives and not at the life, not for the life that you're living now. And when I did that, it felt like such a long time. I found meditation and I felt that as much, the more I meditated, the more that I felt connected to whatever the ethers are, the heavens, the angels, God. The more I meditated, the more that I felt more connected, not only up there, but grounded with earth. And I explored a lot in nature. I lived in Vancouver, Canada. I explored a lot in nature. Um, and it was the most connected and grounded I've ever felt in my life, going through that roller coaster of stress with COVID. But ever since I went through that phase, it allowed me to tap into another level of spirituality that I didn't even think and know was possible in my human thought and consciousness, if that makes sense. So when I would manifest, I think because you experience this un I don't even know how to explain it. It's like unwavering faith of believing that things are just going to work out, that the way that it's going to work out. I walk every single day. I'm not perfect and I'm not saying this, but every single day I try to walk my life out. And if anybody comes in and tries to interject or creates chaos, I either, number one, walk away. If it's somebody close to me, I set boundaries. And I'm more comfortable doing that ever since I've done a lot of inner healing. And the third one is just let him do it, let it be, let it happen. Don't even put a dime of thought, don't even put a cent, don't even put a millisecond of thought of your presence, of your energy in entertaining that, because the more that you entertain it, the more it reflects back to you. And I think that as much as we're human and we have this tendency to do so, it really is the root cause of all of this is really our ego. We want to understand everything. That's our ego. We want to step in and defend ourselves. That's our ego. There is so much of our ego that we don't recognize that we're doing and acting on upon until we really do that inner healing and inner work healing within ourselves. And I think that once I did those things, once I did that trauma healing, once I let people just let things happen, that's when things really started rolling for me in terms of my manifestation. Aside, and I think the biggest one where I was working throughout my manifestation and spirituality journey that I got really, really deep into it. The biggest one was the video that I had on YouTube that I think went pretty viral. It's still going, still making and racking up video views. But the biggest one that I've experienced was that video. And I look back at it and reevaluate that I manifested that in a matter of hours. And some people were like, "You got lucky," like that kind of thing. But you guys don't understand. Like, this was against the odds, and I don't know. It was just it felt so like real that when I look back at it, I remember that no matter how sick I was, no matter how low vibing I was, no matter what negativity my human mindset, my human consciousness was feeling, whatever it was, some reason, an outer energy, an outer source, which felt like myself outside of my body, because we have levels to our auras and it expands. But I feel like whatever was the most expanded part of me outside of my body, whatever that was the one that had unwavering belief and faith. And I look back at things and I say, and I see that a lot of the things I manifested were because of that unwavering faith. And I released a video for Manifest Money Fast. And I think that you could use that video if you're into manifesting. You could use that video to train your mind on how to do certain techniques that may or may not work for you. I think there's like a bunch of different techniques. Manifestation is such a huge topic now. And you don't always have to be high vibing, but your soul does, and your soul is naturally high vibing. It's our human selves that are low vibing. And that's why I say that it's so important to tap into the soul essence of our lives to release the human ego that we all have. Because it's your soul that brings you high vibe. And you know what comes from that high vibe? A place of love and trust, like authentic love and trust. I don't know who needed to hear this video or this message, but it had to be for somebody out there. Use that video I posted on manifesting and train your mind how to do it if sats do work for you, because it has worked for me in so many ways. But anyways, I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. Let me know what you want to see. Bye.